Okay. It is now 4 p.m. on October 23rd, 2024, and so I'm going to call the Sumner County Library Personnel Committee meeting to order, and we're going to take roll call. Haley Wilson,
Erica Grammer,
Jim Holcomb.
Jackie Wilbur,
and Joanna Daniels, Chair. All right. We're going to start off with an invocation. Bow your head. Heavenly Father, we come before you right now. We thank you for your many blessings, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for this absolutely beautiful day. We thank you, Lord, for your Son dying for us. And we thank you, Lord, that we have a place to come together, Lord, to glorify you and to serve you, Lord. I pray right now that everything that happens in this meeting is to glorify you. We pray, Lord, for your blessing, your favor on this meeting. And we just pray that you are here with us. We pray the Holy Spirit. Pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Next, we're going to move on to approval of agenda. I'd like to make a motion to move something around because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people speaking on behalf of Gabby. And I know that we have Alicia first, but I'm just thinking if we put Gabby first, and that way everyone that is here to speak can enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay.
So I just would like to make a motion or entertain a motion to put Gabby before Alicia.
So moved. Yeah.
Okay, do you have a second?
second.
Erica? And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. All right, so now we'll move on to the approval of the agenda as approved. As amended, sorry. What was it?
We know what you meant.
Okay. All right.
So moved.
So moved, Jim. Second by Jackie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, wonderful. All right. Okay. Now we are going to move on to public recognition. Due to the time constraints of the building, we're actually supposed to be out here by 5:30. So it's already 4, and we do have 2 going on. We have, as we said, 10 people speaking. I'm going to ask that you please keep your comments to 30 minutes, because that's already going to be 30 minutes of comments, so we're going to have to move really quickly. And if you can keep it below 3 minutes, it would be great, because our janitor likes to get out of here at 5:30. Okay. And I will have a timer for you. Let me go ahead and get the first timer, and we're looking for a Mr. Jeff. I'm really bad with the last name. Kreider?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. If you'd like to come up. And please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Okay. My name is Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, we're going to have you come on up here so we all can see you and hear you.
My name is Jeff Kreider. I live at 130 College Street, Gallatin. I moved here 3 years ago from the Atlanta area, and I retired and spent many years doing marketing. And I want to start out by talking a little bit about pie charts. And my first experience with the library was in a little town I grew up in Illinois in the 1950s. And the pie chart for activities and events and programming was basically 3 parts. And it was like 75% of book checkout, and probably 20% information, go over and ask questions, get help with information, using the card catalog, the 3x5 index cards. And then maybe 5% was like community events. And the only one I remember is standing in line outside around the block for the polio vaccine in the 1950s. So there's been a lot of changes since then. And I want to talk about Gabby and being a volunteer and a patron at the library. what I want to talk about is her leadership capabilities in 3 areas. And one of them is the way that she sets a tone or a personality or kind of a spirit for the library in Gallatin. And my experience is that it's a very upbeat and very personable and very positive spirit that she sets. The word that comes to mind is kindness. And even last year, walking around downtown, the various employees did paintings on the inside of the windows facing Main Street. And when you look at them, each painting had a letter, so it spelled out, be kind. And then the employees did like kind of reverse images from the inside of Bob Ross and David Attenborough and Dolly Parton and Mr. Rogers. And it was like, be kind, with your music, be kind with your art, be kind with our planet. So, and that idea of kindness is something that I really see and respect in her leadership. It's kind of major spirit. There are 2 other kind of spirits or tones. One is community, of course, and one is joy. Just the kind of joy of learning at whatever stage we are. People targeted by age groups generally. I'm a senior, and so I've benefited from programming around University of Tennessee course on like shopping for groceries and recipes and movement. And I just really appreciate, what she's done about those areas. Being involved in marketing, I also appreciate cross-marketing. And it was kind of a wonder to behold last month, which was Library Sign Up and Get New Cards Month. And she and the team had gone out to probably 8 or 10 businesses in Gallatin.
That's your 3 minutes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to call Mary Brightyoung, please.
I've been giving Jeff some of my time. Although it's funny because his remarks and mine seem to echo a lot of what I'm thinking of with Gabby. My name's Mary White-Young. I live at 1108 Innswood Drive, Gallatin. I've been a patron of the Gallatin Library since the 70s. I've been on the board of the Friends. I've been on the Friends board since 1999. So I've seen a lot of growth, a lot of changes, and a lot of positive things. Under the leadership of Gabby Cato, the library is a fixture of the Gallatin community. The monthly calendar that they publish shows the wealth of programs that are offered and reflects the different groups that are served. Gabby creates a warm and wonderful atmosphere that trickles down through her members of her staff. She makes the library a shining light for the community. The library serves not only children of all ages, adults who are avid readers, art lovers, craft hobbyists, retirees, and lonely people, and also newcomers to our community and the local businesses, which I believe Jeff is fixing to talk about a little bit. We can be so proud of Gabby's leadership and her organizational skills. She has clearly lived up to the vision and expectation of her patrons. Thank you.
You did it. Great job. Thank you. All right. And we're going to call up Jill Bernalius. Okay.
Okay. All right. My name is Jill Bernalius, and I'm on the cobbler in Hendersonville. I'm here today to voice support of the library directors, currently under performance review. It is my ask that the board provide a stellar review to them and show immense gratitude for the public service that they provide as evident to any patron who walks into their respective facilities. Many have successfully attracted large donations used to improve county facilities or provide improved services to Sumner residents, helped in seeking additional grants, organize and manage incredible community events, have the full adoration of their respective friends boards, showcase talented people who live here in Sumner, and are beloved by those who work with them day in and day out. I'd felt the need to come here and make this statement publicly because I'm scared for them. The last time I spoke to the board was in November of last year, after reviewing the library director evaluation policy that detailed 89 points of compliance, of which none related to the level of literacy. As a working professional who has dealt with performance reviews since I was a teenager, the policy came off as autocratic and seemed to prioritize the director's time to fully and enthusiastically support board decisions over sharing the community and library operations. I'm not sure what happened to that policy or if it remains in effect for today's conversations, but watching certain board meetings since then only really piqued my fears of the directors. Specifically, the board's lack of diverse representation, rejecting library bus donations, making select services contingent on opening a library card, and making those with credentials to offer said services pay out of their own pocket has been disappointing. As I've shared with the county commissioners, the community really does deserve a library board that fully and enthusiastically supports our libraries and those who run them now together way around, and I please ask that you prove that today. Thank you.
All right. Christine Bornam. Okay, thank you.
So for the record, I'm Christine Bornam, 1008 Woodfield Drive in Gallatin, and I'm here to speak about my undying love and loyalty to Gabby Cato. She has the heart of a servant and the loving countenance of an angel. She's kind and giving and a ray of sunshine. I have never walked into that building and seen her when she doesn't smile and uplift my spirits. Just being there, grateful to say, hi, I'm so glad you're here today. The Gallatin Library, like Jeff was saying, is not like the libraries that I grew up with, and I thank heaven for that. They served my need at the time, but I look at the needs and the community that the Gallatin Library serves today, and I am so grateful to have that. I'm so grateful to have my community be served by a group, not just following Gabby's leadership, but the entire staff, the volunteers. It provides so many services. I'm just so proud. I have trouble expressing myself to be associated with this library. I have to disagree a bit with Mary Bright. The guidance and her love doesn't just trickle down, it floods. It showers everyone who's there, the entire staff, volunteers, and the patrons. Thank you for your time.
Chelsea Lycan, thank you.
Chelsea Lycan, 618 Martha Avenue. When I heard there would be time for public comment today, I jumped at the chance to publicly praise our wonderful library director, Gabby. I'm sure I'd interacted with her before, but the first time I really remember meeting Gabby was the first time I took my son to the library. I remember because he was 5 weeks old, and it was one of the first times I took my 3 kids out of the house by myself, which is a parenting milestone. Gabby greeted us warmly, and what Gabby couldn't have known was that that was the first picture of me and my 3 kids together. So that was my wonderful start to our relationship that we've been able to build over the last couple of years. I'm sure there are countless families in this county that have had very similar experiences there, where Gabby's thoughtfulness led the way. Since that day, my family has returned to the library often, usually at least once a week. Community coloring is a favorite activity of ours, and even though we have to miss from time to time for sports or school activities, my kids would almost always rather go to coloring. They actually were shocked to learn that there is an old stereotype that librarians are grumpy. They had no idea. This connection is huge for us because my husband and I moved to Middle Tennessee for music industry jobs over a decade ago, and we do not have family here. Thanks to the wonderful programming and staff of the Gallatin Public Library, we now have a library family. I think it's important to mention how our library family speaks with Gabby. More than once, I've had another librarian tell me without prompting that the warm, positive, cooperative environment is all Gabby.
My household enjoys the summer reading program, and I must say those of us who grew up earning personal hand pieces really love the all ages aspect. The parent side of me is thrilled that my kids won't soon feel like they age out of library visits. I think all of us with young readers have a fear that they will not be lifetime readers, but I feel no risk of that with Gabby at the helm. The work Gabby and our team do to include all demographics and interests of the library on the library calendar is highly commendable, and I am thankful. I hope during your evaluation you got a chance to take a look at our beautiful study rooms that Gabby herself decorated using her incredible attention to detail that seems to carry over into every aspect of her job. I could go on, but I'll end with this. I recently had a conversation with Gabby in which she said, "I'm so glad there are brilliant people out there." That simple statement really struck a chord for me because I know that Gabby has surrounded herself with all sorts of brilliant people to work in our library. That's a sign of great leadership. However, it should not go unstated that Gabby herself is a brilliant person and shining light in our community. I'm proud to know her and grateful to have her as my library director. Thank you.
Okay, James Dennis or Derek? Or Jamin? J-A-N-A-N.
You're talking about me.
Sorry, how do you pronounce your name? I apologize.
Janaean.
Janaean.
It
Okay.
rhymes with Japan.
Japan.
Thank you for being here. My name is Janaean Doris, and I live at 704 Davis Drive. My earliest experience in the library happened about 1941, so that gives you some idea of the experiences that I've had. I've known all the librarians at our Sumner County Library. They've, for the most part, been delightful people. No one could touch Gabby. The woman is amazing. She is one of the reasons that Gallatin is the nicest place in America. I am constantly amazed at her energy, at her creativity, at her charm, at her genuine love for our library and for the people who come to next doors. She brings people together. She's created programs for people of all ages. She has made people who are often forgotten, old people, preteens, people who find it difficult sometimes to find a place in the community, find a place in our library, thanks to Gabby. Her arms are open wide, and I think we are so incredibly blessed to have this library and to have her and her staff who are so welcoming and so skilled and so devoted to making our community a better place. Thank you, Lord, for Gabby. And thank you for, I hope, recognizing what we have. We have treasure, you know. I don't know if you've lived other places. I don't know if you've visited other libraries. But I hope you have, because you've got something to compare to ours. Our library is amazing, and it's thanks to her. So, anyway, thank you for all you do. Thank you for serving our community, and I hope you continue to serve it well.
Linda Daniel. Are we related?
No, I don't think so. My son's on the school board. Okay. My name is Linda Daniels, and I am the immediate past president of the Friends of the Gallatin Library. And I'm here today to speak on behalf of our wonderful Gabby, the library manager. Serving as president for the last 2 years, I've worked very closely with Gabby over lots of activities, projects, events. One of the big things that we did, and I hope that you've had a chance to visit our library and see the Bill and Claudia Career Experiential Learning Center that we work with in connection with the Memorial Foundation. It was just a very special, and the Career family. This room is going to be instrumental in impacting the community for many years to come, and the vision and the creation of it came from Gabby. She's always been very professional. She's always been well organized, and she really loves her employees and the patrons at the library. She's created a very warm and welcoming environment. And as soon as you walk in the door, as everybody's already said, you can feel it because of the way the staff relates to the patrons and the way that they relate to each other. Her enthusiasm and excitement we've already talked about is contagious, and it spills over onto everyone that she comes in contact with. And if you look at the calendar of events that she plans every month, I don't know that there's any library that has more events going on than she does, and it's for people of all ages. Speaking for myself and an entire library board, which several are here, we want to ask that you today, we feel like she deserves the very highest rating that you could possibly give. Thank you.
Judy Bevins.
Dr. Judy Bivens, and I live at 665 Maple Lake Drive in Gallatin. I'm the director of the Library Science Program at Quebec. I'm a member of the American Library Association and serve on several committees. As part of my advisory board, I have had Susan Earle, immediate past director of Brooklyn Public Library, and Chuck Sherrill, immediate past director of Tennessee State Library. And we spend time talking about what libraries should look like. We look at professional standards, what should be happening in libraries, their collections, accessibility, all those kinds of things. And as I've been on the board for the past 2 years, I have a very clear understanding of what's happening with Gabby and the Gallatin Public Library. And if I were evaluating her, I would give her a very high rating. Thank you.
Paul McCoy.
Hello. How are you all? Joanna, I met you, and Jackie, I know you. Hi to the rest of you all. I want to thank you all for your time and your service to the Board of Trustees, because I know it takes a lot of time and you've got a lot of responsibilities. You've got 5 libraries. I've been in Gallatin for 5 years now, and I started coming to the Gallatin Library after the pandemic lifted. And that's where I found my community. I found my people. I started serving with the Friends Group and started working with them. In my day job, I've worked with nonprofits and libraries across Tennessee for the last 20 years, from Memphis to Mountain City. There are grumpy librarians. I also have been to a lot of these meetings where they have public comments, and to be honest with you, I'm a little jaded about them. I'm like, oh gosh, public comments, let's go on. But the thing is, this is what you need right now, because we're the community and we're the people who work with Gabby and see her every day. And we are the ones that go into that library, and she's the face that we see, and she's who we're working with. And we see what happens in the community around it. It's nothing short of magic. I've been to all the libraries across the state. I assure you, what we've got here is gold. What we have here is gold. And if you don't believe that, my 10-year-old son asked me, Dad, why are we going to the library the first time we went? And when we got there, Gabby introduced him to her 10-year-old son. And they explored the library, and he checked out a book. Now he asks me, Dad, when are we going to the library? Put that in your evaluation.
And Charlene Almiller.
Hi, I'm Charlene Almiller. I live at 143 One Circle, Huntersville, Tennessee, 37075. I did want to speak on both library directors at this time. I've heard nothing but great things about Gabby Tato, and I've been to the library, the Gallatin Library, a few times. I love what she's like, the environment there. Everything is so homey, and you can go in and it's so welcoming. The Huntersville Library is also a great place, and I do love the activities that are available at both. But I noticed in the Financial Management Committee meeting this past Monday night that there were some non-compliance issues with the Huntersville Library Director on how things were purchased. And I've also heard from former employees that of the Huntersville Library of some other compliance issues, such as like maybe allowing some harassment or allowing people at the same staff level to discipline each other, or and then vaping in the building, and then possibly like somebody living in a garden shed. And so, while I don't know what these reports mean, it's just I've heard them enough that there may be other compliance issues that could do best with some training there. I know that she had gotten thrown into her job after the vicious firing of the previous Hendersonville Public Library director who was protecting her from whenever she accidentally spilled the book. But I would like to just encourage people who want a safe working environment for everybody that's free of discrimination, racist rhetoric and everything. And so if you could just maybe start like looking at if there's a lot of turnover in a place, especially if they're new, like maybe start doing exit interviews for people that are leaving. That might be a good idea. Okay, thank you.
Okay. That will conclude the public recognition part of today. Jim, did you receive, I printed out minutes and everything, did you receive these?
I'm not sure what all of those are.
Sure.
Yeah.
The director evaluations and everything like that, I was able to get printed out. So, now we're going to move on to approval of May 6th, 2024 minutes. You should have received it in an email, and then also you should have a copy of that. I'll entertain a motion to approve the May 6th, 2024 minutes.
Any issues with the minutes?
I make a motion.
Oh, Erica, all right, you have a second? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you so much. Minutes have been approved. All right, now we are going to move on to new business. Hold on. Okay, so the first new business is that we are to elect a chairman. I have been able to be the chair for the last year, and I appreciate it. Now we're going to move on with that. We have a new committee to electing a new chairman. So I will open up the floor for nomination. I nominate Jim. That's my nomination. Anybody else have any other nominations?
Nominate Jackie.
I am supposed to come off in June, so I wouldn't be able to serve the whole time.
You could find somebody else after.
That's up to y'all.
Well, Jim, do you accept the nomination?
I will second the nomination of Jim if that helps solidify that.
Well, we do need a second, and then I was going to ask you if you want to accept the nomination.
Since I am going off in June, I do think that would it would be better to have continuity.
Okay. Okay.
It's an artful dodge.
I've been there. I've served my sentence. It's your turn.
Second.
Yeah, I've been chair before of that.
I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion on the floor to have Jim Holcomb as the new chair of the Personnel Committee. Do I have a second?
I seconded already.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? You can't oppose. Okay.
I will help you.
Okay. All right, so thank you so much. So moving forward after today, Jim Holcomb will be running the meeting. So thank you so much, Jim. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the review of the library director evaluation policy. And I put this on here, one, for us to review it, but two, and this is something that if we want to put on the agenda for next time as well, because it's just bringing this to your attention, is that, this is the first evaluation policy ever in Sumner County for library directors. And, you know, when I became a trustee, I found out that this is actually supposed to have been happening for years. And so I'm very happy that we finally did get one in place. And, but in doing that, you know, it's kind of clunky. You know what I mean? We're trying to figure out how to get to a solid policy. And so, and I think that when we created this, our intention was good, and we went off with what information we had at the time, which wasn't much. And but upon, you know, doing more research, going to another trustees meeting, and looking into more, one of the things that I'd like to discuss about changing, and again, we don't have to do it here, but I wanted to put it. What I'm finding in a few other library you know, counties is that what happens is that the chair of, or if they don't have a personnel committee, actually sits down one-on-one with the director, does the evaluation, then brings it to the personnel committee and talks about their findings, you know. And then, of course, the board is able, the committee is allowed to ask questions or anything like that. But therefore, it makes it for a little bit less intimidating on both fronts. You know, having maybe a hard conversation or anything in front of the whole public. And that doesn't violate sunshine laws because it's a director and a board member. So, so I just wanted to open that up for discussion just quickly because I know we have evaluation. But I wanted to bring that to your attention and entertain that as a possible change to the evaluation policy. So I'd make a motion to open up for discussion.
So moved.
So move to the second. Second, Erica? Oh, okay. All in favor, say aye. Okay. Just a quick discussion. Anybody thoughts on that?
What I like to see is, like you said, this is chunky, and I don't know whether this would be policies and bylaws or whether it be this committee or one or the other. Just to simplify, we've got, like you say, so much that I think we could simplify it into a little bit, you know, narrower, or take all of that and put it into a better worded checklist to go through as an evaluation. So it wouldn't take, we wouldn't have to go through all of this. And also, I like the idea of one-on-one, and I like the idea of, and it wouldn't necessarily, as Jim just has taken on this, it wouldn't necessarily have to be Jim. It could be any member of the personnel committee that did that. Like, you know, you might want to send me to Westmoreland because I do know Portland, but you might want to send me to Westmoreland, and I could have that conversation, you know, and still come back, and it would be, you know, it would be subjective and objective at the same time, but it would, you know, you could come back, and therefore everybody could be involved. It could still be one-on-one. So that are kind of my thoughts. And another thing I was going to ask you about, and we did discuss it in the meeting, was do we need to reword this policy to eliminate the staff survey, or did we do that immediately?
We did that already.
When we voted, it's immediately out of this policy. So we could, so you need to retype and just take that out. Okay.
Well, and the reason why I didn't give you that is because it hasn't been formally approved.
Okay.
And everything. That will be at the next meeting because we did it, but now I have to bring it, we have to vote on it, so you know what I'm saying? So it's good.
But I thought that was at one of our regular meetings.
Yeah, it was voted on. Correct. Yeah.
So it automatically goes away.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it automatically goes away. And I just wanted to give you the original, what we had, so there's no confusion. You know what I'm saying? So just to clarify that. And then, and just really quickly on what you're saying, and I understand, you know, whoever wants to go, yet in the policies that I have read, I think it's always been the chair. And I don't know if that's because it's an authority, it's a leader, I don't know why, it's not saying we have to do that, but that has been.
Well, in 90% of the libraries, or 95 to 99%, it's one director and one chair. Because you've got a director that's over every, we're a little different.
Yeah.
Because we have five.
Correct, yes, but I just wanted to say that. Anybody else have any quick thoughts on this?
I do like the fact that it's less intimidating. This is a lot for, I mean, if I was Gabby or you today, I would be like, this is a lot, you know? But
Yeah.
I think I like the one-on-one aspect more, and then,
Okay.
Fortunately, at my job, they don't, check in with my customers for my annual evaluation, you know, yeah, or maybe that would help me, yeah, who knows? Yeah, so I think it's, I think the process allows for feedback, for, discussions of growth opportunities, while balancing the public's need for more transparency.
Sure, yeah. And, you know, and just to clarify, and while of course we appreciate public comment, it is the weight of the whole evaluation is on that paper that we create.
Right.
And I think that, that we had to make sure that was in print.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Worth noting, I do value the input from the
Of
public.
course,
I'm just
of
saying,
course we do.
they're not invited to my annual review meeting. Is that-
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that, again, yes, that
And
is.
there again, being government, everything's a little different.
Correct.
We do have to respect the
Everything,
fact that
of course we do. We
because
totally do.
they're the ones paying their salary. They're not paying ours, but they're paying their salary.
Correct.
Who is paying?
Nobody's paying us.
We did volunteer, remember volunteer, I was just saying, you know, people who had to put that in there.
Of course.
So, okay, so, all right, well, I just wanted to, review the director evaluation policy, and just know that, you know, that the purpose is to, directors should be evaluated according to their job description, the previous year's goals, and the criteria. And all of those are put in here: preparing and managing the budget, staff management, professional awareness, selection, development of staff, utilization of staff, community development, activity and professional organization, policy recommendations to the board, friends of the library, maintenance of construction of physical library, establishing priorities, staff selection, implementation of board decisions, and library use. So, all right, okay, well, I would entertain a motion to put this on, the next agenda to evaluate the policy and possibly make, changes to it.
So,
So moved.
Yes.
Do I have a second? All right. Kaylee, all in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, wonderful. Okay, wonderful. And so now, we are going to do the director evaluation for Gabby Cato. Gabby, can you come on up to the table, please? Thank you so much, Gabby, appreciate it. And everyone should have received an email with her, self-evaluation, self-assessment. All right. Get everything down here. How are you doing today, Gabby? Good. Good. Are you enjoying the amazing fall weather?
Yep, took a little walk around the square today.
It's the perfect day for that.
It is absolutely beautiful.
so man, my dad.
All right, so Gabby, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the library director evaluation, which is a lot of information. And then we'll also take a look at your self-assessment as well. And then hopefully have this done pretty quickly. So, all right, so, does anybody have any questions? Well, first of all, move to open this up for discussion and evaluation.
So moved.
Jim, all in favor, second?
Second.
Erica, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Would anybody, can we share a copy of this?
Yep, sure.
Would anybody care to have a copy?
Right, this one.
Oh, you're missing one. Here's another one. Oh, do you have copies?
You should have two.
There's a whole
Do you have
package.
one?
Yeah.
Because I have two.
Okay.
Printed off and home. Here, I'll give you one.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, so does anybody have any questions or comments on Gabby's self-assessment?
Madam Chair?
Sure.
I know, the director evaluation is something that's pretty important to you, so I'm glad we're doing it. It's happening. Yeah, it's fantastic. Question 14, you talked about setting realistic goals for the library. You say every time. What are your goals for the library? What do you guys?
To continue to grow and to serve the community and to figure out how to offer more and more resources to the community and to keep up with what they need, because that's changing as Gallatin grows, as the community grows, and it's just to provide the best service and resources. And of course that includes books, but it's so much more that we're given an opportunity to do, and I just hope to keep doing it and doing it better and growing.
Right. Are there any specific metrics associated with the growth?
We do stats. We do stats. We count how many people come to every program. We take requests. We keep up with all the communication we have with people that come in so that we can all work together to try to come up with something. But we do keep up with how well programs are going. We do the same thing with our mobile library van. If a location isn't meeting a certain effectiveness, we have an MOU that we click, and that gives us how we judge whether we continue doing that, and it's the same in the building.
And I'm sorry, when it comes to growth, are there metrics associated with, hey, how we'll know that we're achieving our metric of growth when we hit, or our goal of growth when we hit X? Is there anything like that?
No, one of our biggest goals is to actually meet the standards that the state gives us for being a level 4 library, and we do not. None of the libraries in Sumner County do. Eventually, it would be to have enough staff to be open longer. It would be offering more programs that better serve people. I know we are a program-heavy library, but I don't think we're hitting all of our demographics. It is just continuing to have people come in the building more and more every year.
Okay, great.
Jim, real quickly, and just to clarify for the public, and the transient standard is a suggestion. It's something that they would like for us to get to, but they also have been told.
Well, they understand,
but
it still gives us a goal to try to reach.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that. Anybody have any questions?
Well, I'd like to share a couple of things before, we go on. As far as, I'm from Portland, but I'm a member of the Retired Teachers of Sumner County, and I'm a member of the Delta Kappa Gamma Sorority for Professional Educators. And our meetings are here in Gallatin. So a lot of people don't know really that I'm on the library board per se. And I've had a couple of times, one is one of your volunteers that really didn't know I was on this committee and was talking about how the library had grown and changed and how Gabby was doing such a good job, and she compared it to previous directors that had been there and said it had really come a long way. And you didn't know that. I wanted to share that with you. And then I happened to run into, I was at an event last week, and I ran into Mayor Brown, and she had many good things to say about you. And I just wanted to share that with you as well.
Gabby, the time I've been in the library, and I echo the sentiments of everybody who's come and spoken. I think it's a wonderful environment. I think you do a great job. The staff seems happy and focused, and I think there's no shortage of people who love coming to the Gallatin Library, and I think that's a great credit to you. Yeah. Are there relationships or areas of personal growth that you have and that you want to focus on the coming year?
Communication a lot. When I'm afraid When I am anxious, I get a little short. I don't really do it with our staff. I know that some of y'all have experienced that with me, and I do apologize. This has been a heck of a transition for us. So communicating with you and Joanna is a big deal to me, and I pray on it. I hope to make it better, because I appreciate y'all doing this. I've had communication is one of my focuses that needs improvement. I can celebrate all day long, but I do have difficulty with bad news, I guess. And that's just a part of it. That's reality, and sometimes it has to be faced, and I could do a much better job communicating it.
I think the last question I have for you. How else can we support you in your efforts as a director?
Just keep coming in the library. Just visit us, spend time with us, hear what we're doing, and give us the resources to do the thing, continue doing what we're doing.
In the area of communication and staff and dealing with staff and that sort of thing, because I know that you were thrown in a hurry and you had to go from being one of them to being the director and having to deal with them. I have seen growth. Have you?
I believe we have the staff is happy. They're confident. They always go above and beyond. I've always kind of joked, we're extra every step of the way, and all of the staff is that. They're not nervous to talk to me. They're not, I am huge about having an open door. I welcome everybody, and I think the staff knows that, and they haven't experienced that in the past.
Anybody else have any comments on the self-assessment survey? Any disagreements, or you feel that she needs to work on something, or that she is really good at? I apologize.
I can say that I've been in the library 3 times, and so far, because I enjoy getting to give that direction when I can. And I have loved the atmosphere. I got to come to get to see the summer, how you had it decked out for summer. And I've gotten to hang out with your staff a lot. I got to hang out with you once, briefly. You're having to leave out, but I've gotten to hang out with your staff quite a bit, and have enjoyed those times. They've been showed off some cool things in the break room stuff. So I also got to see some of those extras, and I really love the feel of the Gallatin Library as well. I actually got to see a rainbow one of the times I was there with some of your staff. I personally would just like to be able to open more communication, because I will be just very open and being very honest. I would like to see more openness. I have not felt as much openness to communicate with me personally. That I don't take that personally. A lot of that has been circumstantial as well, so I hear that and see that. But I would want to have more open communication with you. I think I met you at a crazy time when a lot had happened prior to me coming on. And I could say us, but I mean, I'm speaking specifically me. And so I think that there may have been some trust issues from the beginning when we haven't gotten to build that trust yet. And I see great things. I see great things in your library. I hear great things from what people share in person and through communication. But I would like to see see more open communication. And so you saying that word, I wanted to use that word.
Absolutely.
Because I am somebody that I'm sitting over here I'm like cheering, but I just haven't gotten to know you that way. And so, okay.
Even to just echo, Gabby, like, we are for you. We really are.
We're still getting used to that.
We want to be for you.
I appreciate it.
I see you as a kind person, but I do desire to hear more from you.
Okay.
We don't hear as much from you as we do some of the others, and even when we ask for communication, it's not given to us. And so we just love to know you more.
I look forward to it.
So, you know, I've been on the board the longest, and when I started in December of 2022, besides Jackie, out of the newbies, yes. But you know, I came onto the board excited to serve the community, excited to serve directors, and really to learn how to support. And, you know, I feel that there was a hostility already created. It was a hostile environment that I actually walked into.
We were incredibly fearful for our future when y'all came on. It is a hard way to live. It's a hard way to continue investing your heart in something when you haven't met people. I don't feel like there was a lot of communication when y'all came on, and I want to apologize for interrupting, but I am going to continue to say my door is open unless it's 5 o'clock and I want to go home, and I beg y'all to come in. I want you in the building, so.
Thank you. So what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, even what you just said, and just using the word that you said, you feared for your jobs and feared for that, and you know, there was, and you said you never heard anything, so I'm not even quite sure whether fear was even based.
I meant from y'all. We didn't hear from y'all much in the beginning when you came on.
Okay. So when we first came on, we were just trying to learn, and we didn't come on until November, and the first time we really got to talk to you was in January. So, and actually, I think some of us did come to your.
You did.
Exactly.
Thank
so
you.
we did. We showed a support in the beginning.
Okay.
For you. And so, and the hostility really continued. It wasn't. It was a hostile environment to numerous of us, and it was to me it I think to many board members, and even to Diane Johnson, there was a letter of talking about how
that was struck from the record by the legal department.
It wasn't struck by the record.
Okay.
So and it was because it's a public record.
And our interactions that she was discussing were when she was the director of the Hendersonville Library, not while she was on the library board. They all were before.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm talking about her interaction with you at the library.
With our budget?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and in your apology letter, you know, it says, I'd like to offer the public letter of contrition to the Sumner Library Board, the community we serve, you know, and understand we weren't even looking at firing you. So let me finish my thoughts here. I appreciate the communication about my shortcomings. This has caused me to reflect on my actions and reactions. And I apologize for overreacting during any of our previous interactions. Going forward, I'm hopeful that we can mend our relationship, and I'm open to any suggestions you have on doing so. And you know, when I received that as a board member, I took it on face value that you
apologize for overreacting during any of our previous interactions. So, and then you just mentioned right now that when you get scared, you short, your communication is bad. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen an improvement in that. And you know, I wanted to go back and I wanted to watch some of the other meetings that we had and even the meeting that was just previous. So tell me, how is it, do you feel that you've improved?
I haven't improved with y'all. I did improve with Diane, and we have spoken since, and we will never be best friends because we don't have the same values when it comes to libraries, but we can communicate. I feel continually cut off by you. I don't get responses, and it continues to make me fearful. I don't know how to feel safe here. It has been terrifying since y'all come on, and I don't point of view, and I don't know how to quit being defensive when I feel like every day there is a possibility that y'all are going to let me go. There's nothing that has ever made me feel safe with y'all.
Can I ask a clarifying question? When you say y'all, are you speaking all of us? Because, some of us you've not known through all that.
Mainly I'm talking about Joanna and Jim. They're the ones that I've communicated with the most.
And so can you clarify? I can give you specifics on where there's been a hostile environment created by your reaction. Can you, at no point in time has at any point in time since you said to Jim and I, have we threatened your job? Okay.
But you're not in control of the way I feel, and that is what comes. I've never been afraid of anything in this library with the former boards, with the former mayors, and I'm terrified of disappointing y'all so much so that you would find a way to let me go. And that is just a fact for me. And I pray I'm wrong. But the way that you talk to me doesn't make me feel any hope. And that's just it.
And I don't have that same opinion or that relationship. It's totally different. Because every time I go into Gallatin or to talk to Gabby, I am welcomed and conversations are civil and conversations are... So I don't have that same vibe at all.
No one more surprised than me to hear that we have a problem.
The things that we've talked about, Jim, you still... Then you come in and vote certain ways after we talk, and it's disheartening. Honestly, I feel like every time we talk, it's immediately sent out. Y'all use the same verbiage. Both of you have now gone with the hostile, with the tense, and I hear you. You called me on the telephone and told me I was being hostile at the last board meeting.
I think what I said is you were being contentious.
Hostile was the word I...
Oh, okay. Not my intention to tear this out here. I think from the beginning, man, I came to visit you when I got on the board, and as you said, nobody had ever come to visit you that early. I think we had a fantastic relationship. The collection policy gets passed in November, and then something changed, and it wasn't me. And I'm still for you. I'm still for the library, but it's like visiting Elsa at the ice castle when I go in. That's not great. So I think
I will work on my communication. I will. It is not in my job description that says I have to be warm and bubbly.
No.
I will communicate. I will respond to emails. We will visit, and I will work on the rest.
Okay.
I'd like, since you brought up the last meeting, I would like to just bring an observation into that. I was actually really taken by surprise by how, I don't know what created that response.
When we were told that we had 3 minutes to discuss our library and that our governing board wanted to hear from us for 3 minutes every other month was very hard to hear.
Yes, but those 3 minutes are very important to me when I get to hear that is 15 minutes. Like of an entire meeting. And
but we are the purpose of the entire meeting.
Okay, I understand that limitation could feel differently because it wasn't limited prior. I do understand that. When we came on the board a year and a half ago, it was, each person was taking 12, 15 minutes each times 5. I think that was just a lot. We really enjoyed, I've come to your place and said, show me around, brag all you want to, because I want to hear all those things. I want to hear the good things. I even want to hear the challenges. I want to hear how I can help you and support you. And anything I've ever heard from anybody that I serve with says the same thing. I was absolutely taken by surprise by how you reacted last time. And I do understand, I like to share words. I'm a wordy person. I like to enjoy drawing the picture. I hear that. But we really like to hear your highlights. We really like to hear the things. And then you do a beautiful job of the papers that you give us so that we can fill in the rest of that information. The way that you acted the last time, I don't know any precursor to that. I don't know why that happened that way.
It was the 3 minutes. It felt like we were completely shut down, and y'all weren't super interested in hearing from us. And again, I realized I did not respond well. It felt like y'all were humoring us by giving us 3 minutes to talk. It's the way I interpreted it. And it's really hard to want to share. I did the best. I sent my report early, and I put everything I could in it. Because of the way I feel and fear here. It was never going to be comfortable, and knowing I would get cut off, it was too much. And I will try to babble next time, but I see y'all playing on your phones while we're talking. I see the computers. It is really hard to think that y'all are taking us seriously.
I personally have sat here going, oh, wow, that sounds really
You have,
fun.
and I apologize for saying y'all.
Oh, wow, I want to hear more about that.
Thank you.
I'll ask you later. I have really enjoyed hearing each of you, but you specifically, I want you to hear that. I love hearing what is going on at your library. I care about what's happening at your library.
Thank you.
And I was taken by surprise. I'm sorry for the limitation. I'm sorry that affected you that way. But, and it is thinking in the big picture of 15 minutes, but, of everybody sharing. But, you could have given us 3 minutes worth. We would have loved to hear it. And I also was very glad to hear about what's going on with the parking situation, because we have been out there, we've looked, we've been concerned about that too. So, I was taken by surprise by that.
It was very disheartening, and personally, I don't know about you guys, but that's my favorite part of the meeting, is getting to hear from you guys. And so,
it's hard to tell that from this side.
And I'm sorry if I have in any way made you feel that
Thank
way.
you.
I wish I had a schedule to where I could come to your library as much as I could, but I currently in this season of life do not. And so that's the time that I really enjoy getting to hear from you guys. I've been able to come in a couple of times. I haven't gotten to see you when I've been there. But your library is very warm and homey and comfortable. I really enjoyed talking to the lady upstairs. Can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
We move around all the time.
Okay. She was a pleasure. But yeah, I truly, I believe our heart to just want to know you better and to better and to have that reciprocated.
And I will try. I appreciate y'all saying that. I've not heard that before. So, Jim, I appreciate you coming to visit. I don't know how I lost trust when you talked with me about the policy and then came in here enthusiastically and there voted for it. It's still hard to put out in public. We are still getting comments about it. And it's hard to feel warm with somebody that you disagree with so much, but, and I will make an effort. As I said in my self-assessment, I am real aware of this. This board is y'all are the very few human beings that I know that I'm not warm with. But I also don't believe that's my job, and I promise I will communicate better and clearer going forward.
We're all in charge of our own joy. Like, your joy is your job, right? I treat you with kindness and respect, and we might disagree philosophically sometimes, and that's okay. But I think we tend to agree more than we disagree, and I think that's absolutely a growth action. That if you can't be professional or courteous to people you disagree with philosophically, I mean, is it a library for everyone if people you disagree with aren't, treated with courtesy and, it's kind of a rhetorical question at that point. I'm surprised. And I'll just say, I think the supposition that we're, playing on our laptops or on our phones is no more
For document purposes.
well, and is no more accurate than you being on your phone in the audience. And I think that doesn't serve any of this well, and is both unfounded and unnecessary.
Well,
what I see is passion.
So sorry, Jackie, 1 second. Sorry, Kaylee's had her hand up for a minute. It's okay. You say that it's not your job to be warm. I get that.
Yes.
It's not. But it is in your job description to communicate with us when we ask you to. And that's my intention right now.
I would like to know, besides that one meeting where I didn't communicate.
Multiple of us reached out to you about your report that was never sent in several months ago, and we never got it. And that's something that
I don't have any emails with a report not being turned in. The one that we're talking about, I was late on, but I got it in.
I never received it.
Okay. I can get that emailed over tonight.
That was just clarification. That was the May meeting, I think, that you couldn't come last minute or something. That's right.
That
yes.
Day or something.
And so it was the May, June calendar. And I think you may have included, but it may have been just this recent one in July when we got it, if we got it at all.
Jackie, you had a comment?
I was just going to say that I see passion on both sides, and I would like to positively rather than negatively, and I think that Gabby has said communication is a weakness that she's going to work on. And I think maybe I'd like to do that too and work on that as well. And maybe the door can swing both ways on something like that.
And, I've worked in numerous jobs. I managed a record label, a huge record label, and I had 5 things that I was managing, and I had a big boss to
go to, and although it wasn't my job description to be bubbly or nice, there was a respect that they were my boss. And although it's not written down in a job description, I made sure that when I communicated with them, that it was respectful. It was nice. Was I direct at times? Sure. You know, I've been told I can be very direct. And that doesn't mean that being direct, though, and being hostile are two completely different communication, ways. And so, and for you to right now say that you didn't feel that it was in your job description to be bubbly or to be warm to us, it honestly, may I finish? It surprises me, and it just really surprises me, just on a professional manner, not on a feeling manner, on a professional manner, because I know that there were 2 times that I found out that you were in need of something, and one was the parking issue. There was the construction people parking in your parking lot, and I rushed over, and you told me about it. I said, is there anything else that needs to be done? He said, yep, we're having a parking issue, and I said, okay, great. Let me take care of this for you right now, because you said how stressful it was for you. And out of respect for you and for you, I called that company right there on the spot for you. And I had it taken care of immediately within 20 minutes. And then I gave you the information of the person.
But I had it already.
Okay.
I'd already communicated with them.
But you had told me that you weren't getting anything.
Correct.
And so I supported you in that.
And I appreciate that, but nothing came through until Jim stepped in.
Okay. But what I'm trying to say is that you asked, and I tried, and I got in touch with the gentleman thinking that it would never happen again. Now, I didn't know if it would happen again or not.
That's because you sent me an email and said, here's the communication, you talk to him. So I kept talking to him.
What I said was, here's the information in case you need to talk to him again.
And I did.
Yes. So what I'm just trying to say is that I supported you, and then the carpet, I had no idea that there was a carpet issue. And then when I found out there was a carpet issue, I came to you and said, hey, how can I help? So what I'm trying to say here is that out of respect, any needs, I've tried to help you, and what I'm just trying to say is that being bubbly or warm is not a job description, but there is a respect. So, in communication. Jen?
But I just moved to close discussion at this point, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't know so. All right, discussion. Well, we didn't do the evaluation. So we have to go ahead.
We're closing the discussion. We go on with the
correct.
evaluation.
And then move on. Yes.
So I'll second.
Yes. All right. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? All right. And then we're going to move on to definition of rating terms, and you guys have all that in front of you. So we can move through this quickly. Preparing and managing the budget. Necessary work is completed in a timely manner prior to monthly and annual presentation to the board. I believe that last year there was a problem with this. This year it wasn't even really presented to the board. And through no fault of yours, I don't think so. But the budgets, they weren't presented until July. So, what are your thoughts?
Did she do it in the timely manner of what she understood the thing, because it has just become clearer of coming straight to the board. I mean, isn't that true?
No, that was last year. Actually, last year when Diane was the treasurer, it went straight to us.
Oh,
But there was a,
that was confusion, right? There was some confusion there?
no, not in that, not when Diane was there, and I know you weren't here. But what you're,
Did she do it in a timely manner as far as getting it to the?
financials, yes. And it, you know,
And finance sends that out and requires their numbers to come back to them. And then they have to meet with the finance committee.
so,
So it's a requirement from finance.
correct.
And all that.
But again, this is saying a timely manner prior to the monthly and annual presentation to the board. So I want to make sure that we are very clear on the wording of it. Not to finance, but to the board, if that makes sense.
Can I ask her a question?
Sure.
Did you know that it needs to be presented to the board?
I didn't, but I sent it out to y'all in a report very close to the time that we had to turn it into finance.
I'm just asking questions. I'm comfortable with the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
The budget
So what was
covers,
that?
the budget covers all necessary expenses. Yes. To my knowledge,
You don't have a choice on that.
yeah, I'm like, funds are allocated or reserved for unanticipated contingencies. I mean, honestly, any course corrections are minimized. Federal and state aid reports are accurate and complete and submitted. Other funding sources are explored and applied for appropriate administers the library budget, communicates with the county finance department about needs and or issues with vendors. I mean, all those I don't see a problem with.
I think so.
Yes, you have any problem? Okay. So the only comment that I'm going to put in here is about the budget is that the first year that we were that I was here, there was some money that Gabby had wanted, and the commissioners did not approve it, and yet she still put it in the budget. And Diane Johnson from the budget had to say, no, you can't have that money. And then it went, and then the commissioners said no, and then the board said no because she was at, I think it was at about $49,000, and she wanted to get to the $55,000, and yet she was still trying to put in the budget, and I even had to join Diane at a budget meeting and let the budget people say that even though you keep putting it in there.
Are we doing a 1 year or a 2 year evaluation here? Because that goes back to the budget before.
This is the first evaluation that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
But I don't think it's fair to go back, way back. We all have skeletons in a closet somewhere. So I don't think it's fair to go back and pick on something like that.
I don't know.
If you just go back to this budget cycle, then, because a lot of that too was coming where Gallatin had lost a position to Hendersonville, and that was just trying to come back from being a one system, accounting system, to getting everything back. So there was some confusion, and there was some, you can have this and you can have that kind of thing. And that was when you were dissolving one system to another. So I don't think it's fair to go back that far and just look at this budget cycle and it's falling into place.
So this is the first evaluation for her, and so I think that it is fine for us to do the point in time that she has been hired underneath this board. So this is the first evaluation.
I think it's unfortunate that the directors have never had an evaluation before. And so I think this has to be a holistic, comprehensive observation of the job performance to date. And then moving forward, yes, and
Okay, so, clear and well-communicated management-staff relations are maintained. When grievances are filed, there is a clear explanation. Provide hiring procedures and select new employees. Provide training and instruction for library personnel. Oh, communicates with the library board about budget issues as soon as they arise. Sorry, I forgot.
Previous.
That one above that one.
What's going on is we have it's at the top of the page.
Yeah,
That's kind of hidden.
It's kind of hidden. So communicates with the library board with budget issues as soon as they arise. This is actually, like, with the carpet. I didn't know about it until a commissioner called me. And I was like, I didn't even know that there was a problem with the carpet and that there had been something. So, and then when I asked, why wasn't it brought up to a board, you had said, well, it's been on there for a while, and it was in some minutes when Jim Young was on the board, and absolutely none of us, other than Jackie, was on the board. So,
Jim was never on the board.
well, not Jim, or, Fox.
Ronnie.
Fox, that's what it is. But Jim helped with IT.
He was an employee of the board.
Thank you. Fox, and I'm bad name. So, and so, I'm gonna say a 4, because, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, I think with the improvement, I think 4 is good, but because I think she's done a fair job with that, like that I've seen in my experience.
Provide assistance to library personnel performing duties, communicate with library personnel as appropriate, and staff issues and job openings are communicated to the library board. I believe all of them, except for the staff issues and job openings, are communicated to the library board. I personally don't know when you have a staff opening.
Very seldom. I think in the last year, I've hired 2 summer people that have stayed on. And I hire new summer people, except for this last summer, the same people, different people every summer. It's always a seasonal job.
Okay. So I would say, I'm good with all those. It's a 4 with the job position. Did I get all of them? That one?
No hiding one from it.
Professional awareness, innovative methods of service delivery, and technical processes are studied thoroughly. Innovations are implemented only after they fit the needs of the library and are proven to be cost-effective. The director maintains an adequate knowledge of current library policies and standards set by the library board and Tennessee library standards. Staff are encouraged to maintain an awareness of technological advances, plan and coordinate library services and operations, select for all library equipment, implement and monitor library procedures and policies developed by the board, plan, implement, and monitor the library technology systems, prepare reports, compile statistical data as needed. Anything in there that you guys can bring up?
I have a question for you about the policies. One, you just shared that it was hard for you what was voted in and that kind of stuff in November. How have you? So this goes under the implement, monitor library procedures and policies developed by the library board. How have you implemented? We've chatted about it briefly that one time we got to talk in the library, and I talked to some of your staff. How have you continued to implement that policy, especially that policy, but the policies?
When that policy first went through, we were not sure how to proceed with it. We knew we would have to move books, shelves, areas, make separations, and until we could feel like we had fully complied with that, we asked parents to either stay with their kids at all times. We asked them to sign it, and if they were comfortable with their children going anywhere in the library, they signed that they agreed to that so that we weren't liable while we figured out what our plan was. We have clear delineation. We have taken stuff out and labeled it. If meets any of those standards, even the thought of them, most of the things we don't even have in the library. But if it even thought about going against those, we went ahead and took it out or moved it. We want to be in full compliance with the policies y'all give us. It's incredibly important, and we realize that.
I was just curious.
Yeah. It's fine now that we know, yes.
Kim, do you have any questions? Follows meeting procedures at library board meetings. Anybody have?
I think those have been asked and answered.
Yep. Okay. So what numbers would you guys like to put on those? On all of those? The library procedures and policies developed by the library board, I think that we were talking to you about that a few times, because there was no permission slip ever implemented in the policy. And, you know, I'm not quite sure why that happened.
It was our effort to give us time to make sure that nobody had access to any items. So we just wanted to be safe. That was our way of giving us time to come up with a plan so that we met that policy.
And protecting yourself.
Are there signs up anymore?
No.
About permission slips?
Okay. They've been down for a long time.
Great. Okay. So, where are we at on these?
I'm okay with $5 down, because she's already mentioned the Tennessee standards and you know, those top things have already been addressed and asked and answered. So, I'm okay with, and I do think that implementing new policies, and I mean, in any kind of business situation, you come up with a new policy, and several people might do it differently, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different.
Jerry, you look like you want to say something.
Again, I think we've discussed, I would rate the implement and monitor as effective as a 3, and probably meeting procedures as effective, not bad, effective, and then everything else 4s and 5s.
So, okay. So, 3.
And just my 2 cents. Do what you want.
For the polish.
And polish. Is that right?
Yeah.
The said director's reports, again, more than effective, you know, one late one.
One late, yeah.
That's right. I mean, again, highly effective, but can't call it outstanding.
And she was at a training, so it's, yeah.
Which one is that on?
The said director's reports to library board.
Okay, so I'll put those at 4 or 3.
I'd say 3 or 4. Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So 5 and then 3. Okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think he had proposed a 4 for that last one.
4.
Actually, there's the next to last one. There's a hiding one again.
Yes, the ensure compliance with all libraries.
There's an ensure one as well. The next to last one, he had proposed a 4. Y'all, you said 3, so which one are we going with for the director's report?
Which one do you prefer? Which one do you guys think?
I think 4, because it is one time, it is one time that,
4?
and I'm only going by,
That's
that they requested it multiple, I've heard that they have requested it.
Washington email too.
Yes, in the meeting, yes. So, yeah, and then the last one is a 5, correct?
Yes. Okay. And then
The hiding one.
we're going to have to move extremely quickly through this. Collection development policy is upheld. Director handles any challenges in a timely manner. Collection and weeding policies are systematically implemented. I'm just going to say that they're all going to be 5s unless you say put a 3 here or a 4 here. Okay? So that way. Is there any 3s or 4s in the collection development policy that you guys feel need to be there?
You say you're fully upholding that at this point.
I believe so.
Just, is there anything in here that was meant 3 or 4?
I thought you just thought of that one.
Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Implementation of board decisions. Do you have something to say?
I just feel like it was so messy, after everything happened that, I don't know that a 5 is sufficient.
I think it was messy too in that when we had to push a halt on donations recently.
Yep.
Because there was an email. There was an email sent about an interaction with an employee saying that you were going to get fired if they accepted donations. There was nothing of that at all. And so,
None of my employees claim they've never told anybody that. So we discussed it, and I've clarified that will not happen again.
okay. Well, I sent an email asking for clarification, and your response didn't address the conversation. So, yeah. Okay, so what were your thoughts on?
Which one in particular?
Well, implementation of board decisions. Board decisions are
category.
Number 5. Board decisions are implemented on a timely basis.
They were implemented, they stopped when they got the email. They shut down their donations and their, and that necessarily wasn't a board decision, but it was, something they got as a concern, and they did. As far as I was informed, all of them did.
And we put up no signage like you requested, and I gave my staff a script to follow, just so that everything was clear, that this was a temporary, it was being looked into by the library board, and that was the end of the conversation.
So, Kaylee, you were the one that voiced your concern. What are your thoughts on this? Before, director displays initiative, I would say 4, objective in making necessary decisions. I'm going to say a 3.
I agree.
Director consistent decisions that affect the staff and the public, I would say 4. Director implements board decisions. She does, so I would say 4. And director sets an example for staff through professional conduct, high controls, and a business-like approach, and I would say a 3. Okay. Use the library effectively communicates library services to the public, I would say 5. Proper and realistic balance is maintained between promotion services and budget constraints, 5. Circulation trends and in-house use are adequately analyzed, 5. Information about new services. I think, honestly, all this is good.
Yeah, great. Great.
Development of staff. I don't see any problems in the development of staff. Do you have a succession plan in place? Okay, great. So I don't see a problem with any of these. Anybody else?
I'd just like to more information on this, maybe in your next report? Like, the training they receive, what you're doing to improve them, or grow them, mentor them.
I know I always hear good things from,
Cecilia
about
as well.
We only had 2 employees who didn't meet the hours, but they were seasonal, so it was, they were only there 2 months and like 10 hours a week.
That's a little harder, but I'm not going to. There's a hiding link, just stay on that.
That's what I asked.
I'm just making sure everybody's positive.
Yep. Utilization of staff, I don't see any problems there. I think she's good with that. Yep. Community development, I believe you're asking. Yes.
I think you are very good.
So visually,
You're visible in the population for sure.
I do believe your communication with local officials and regional office is great.
Speaking engagement, she does all the surveys.
All that is very good.
When you do prepare news releases and notices and all those things, so I think I fall all the way.
Activity and professional organization, I believe she does great. Policy recommendations to the board, adequate staff research is completed prior to presentation to the board. I don't know if you've ever.
I have never even heard of that, but I can do that.
And literature to provide them with the necessary background to make informed policy decisions. I don't think that we've really asked that of you for the most part. Anybody else?
Most of the time that comes from Cecilia. Most of that, it doesn't have to come through them to us. It comes from Red River to us. So, because that could be a non-applicable.
Yeah.
And then
For 11. Both points on
11. And Friends of the Library, Director Russ actively promotes the maintenance of the Friends group. To my knowledge, does support to the Friends. Director delineates, Lord, and or help define the role of the Friends group. Friends group is adequate explanation of its role in relationship to the role of the board. The director updates the library board about what the Friends is doing and providing for the library. Tell me that.
Which one?
I don't really know that you really include that.
Well, when per year
When we were doing the
and all the things,
construction.
she does tell us what they're doing for the library. So, we don't always, they don't always do something that magnanimous, but we do know about it.
The Friends use magnanimous things all the time.
I know.
Okay. All right. Maintenance and construction of physical library. I think everything's great there. I don't know. Maybe it goes in this. When we were in one time, my husband reached to grab a teddy bear off of the children's shelf, and the shelf collapsed. So he reported it to the lady that was there, and he managed to wiggle it back up there to make it someone's face when we left. But
nobody made me aware of that.
I'm sorry. We told the lady that was in the children's library that day, but he fixed it up there real quick to make sure it didn't hurt anybody else. So
I will look into that.
Okay.
But somebody evidently fixed it because it hasn't
That's right.
Nobody has ever said anything about it.
He's a great handyman, and he's like, I don't want this to anybody else, so.
Okay, establishing priorities. Directors recommended priorities are in concert with the library's plan as defined by the board. Priorities reflect advanced planning. Directors' accomplishments reflect and relate to the short and long range plans. Plans are updated to change basis, and directors provide adequate information to the board on the implementation and revision of short and long-term planning. I mean, it does in your report when you talked about the budget, what's going on in budgeting. Any comments from you, Jen? No. Okay. All right.
Five all the way down there.
Staff selection is accomplished at appropriate supervisory
levels, use the staff resources. I think all these are fine. Staff selections.
There are 3 there.
Yes. Thank you for looking at that. Okay. And then, anybody else have any comments or, I'll just put communication, obstacles, because that's what you select. Okay. Anybody else have anything else that would like to comment or anything? No? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Good. Go ahead.
Nope.
Okay. So then, I will entertain a motion to accept the evaluation to move on to the board.
So moved.
Okay, I do have a second. Haley, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We just need you to sign this.
Give our best to your staff.
Yes.
Thanks for the work they do.
I appreciate your leadership and for you to take care of them. All right, and just need the signature. Great. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Unfortunately, we're at 5:40. Do we want to continue with Alicia's, or do we want to move this? We do have another board meeting on the 30th where we're going to be doing.
I would hate to put Alicia through this one. I know the
Okay.
and I think since we've done it once, we can just go right through.
Hey, I just wanted to ask. Okay, all right, Ms.
And
Alicia, so
church
moving on to
Cycle 7, so I'm
Alicia.
Madam Chair, can I call for a 5-minute break?
You may, yes.
So called.
So I have a 5-minute break then. Do I have a second? A second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, all right, 5-minute break.
Jenny, recess.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call,
Gang, we're back in session. We don't mind either moving out or
Thank
having,
you.
thank you.
All right, so we're now calling the library board personnel committee meeting back into order after 5-minute recess. And we now are going to move on to the evaluation, director evaluation of Alicia Neighbors. Do we have a motion to open up the evaluation for discussion?
So,
Oh,
Seconded.
I'm gonna go with you.
Second.
Second, Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? You can't say no. So, all right. So, okay, so everyone should have received the director evaluation survey from Alicia. Alicia just had her 6th month, which is actually about 8 months, in May, and that's why we moved it to later so that we could get a full year and a little bit more, because it's literally just had an evaluation. Anything on the director evaluation self-assessment that you feel needs to be addressed or would give a different rating?
Nothing came to mind. Madam Chair, I'd ask the same question. Alicia, what are your, top goals for the Hendersonville Library? Like, what are you working on? What are you excited about? What do we look forward to in this next year?
Well, increased growth, training amongst staff to build up their skills. I don't want our library to be a stopping point to them, but a landing or a growth pad. We're also working on, we did a recent demographic study and realized we weren't reaching as many senior citizens as well as just the older adults who may have retired. So we're looking into planning programming as well as providing resources. We did start like with memory kits that people who are caretakers of Alzheimer's or dementia patients can come and check out. So we're just trying to find ways to branch into those demographics and make sure that we're reaching them. Historically, as long as I've been there, it seems like it reaches more of the children. Last year we focused on teens and really built those programs up and got those consistent. now we want to move on up to make sure that we're hitting all the different age groups.
Yeah. Anything personally as a director you're looking forward to working on and growing or in an area you're interested in working on or growing in the coming year?
We're getting really close to the graduation of Public Library Management Institute, so I'm looking forward to that. I am ready to be done with school on that. When I came in to the position, I did not have a background in library or library science, so it's been a big focus of mine to learn more about not just the library itself, but making sure of all the different policies that go across, and then connecting with other libraries, whether locally, regionally, or nationally, to find better ways to do service.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
So look at the 3 factors that the library director excels in, saying community engagement, conflict management, and diplomacy, and which I believe that you are very good in. Conflict management, I think that is something you excel in. I think that you handled a lot of, there were a few people that came into the library concerned about the collection development policy, and you handled that well. Let's see, I'd like to have a better system of time management to manage all the different directions and get into collaboration with other local directors and libraries and allow more responsibilities. I will allow more responsibilities to be given to capable staff members rather than trying to handle everything by myself. And I would agree with that. And how do you see yourself doing that? Because when you don't delegate, then balls get dropped. You know what I mean? And so, how do you feel like you are going to improve in that?
I really wish I was here to that. I'm still trying to learn it. We have had some turnover, which has caused me to put more back on my plate. But going forward, working with the staff members that I currently have, plus the one that's coming in, I know that they're trained, and so making sure that they're trained gives me a calmer sense of turning over some of those tasks. Before, a lot of our staff was new, management was new, we were all just trying to figure it out, and I wanted to make very certain that we were always following policy and rules and doing what was best for our community, that I think I held on just a little bit too tight. And now I'm beginning to realize that the team loves the community as much as I do, they love the library as much as I do, and I can trust that once they've had the training, they can fulfill those tasks.
Good. I was getting through my understanding and implemented county policy in terms of finance. Okay. Anybody else have any general feedback on Alicia or anything that you feel you saw on this?
I just want to say how much I think your communication. It's a big deal. It really is. And I love getting your emails and seeing what you're doing. It's exciting. It makes us feel like we're doing a good job and you're doing a great job. So I want to tell you how much I appreciate that.
Sure, yeah. I do just want to, for the record, because we just saw something else. I came into this position with a different feeling of the library board. With my lack of knowledge and the turmoil that I walked into, I immediately leaned into the team because I was told that's what the library board was there for. So it was hard to hear that because I've had such a different experience, but I also understand where she was coming from. And I do want to value that. I have no doubt that, of course, we're going to do things differently. I'm a big communicator and always have been. But I did have a foundation of trust immediately that kind of made me a little bit more open talking to the board and bringing y'all in and say we're seeing, I don't know how some of the background and the negativity that she has had to deal with, and I respect what she said a lot.
Sure, and just, I want to be clear, and people take this the wrong way, but I've asked you don't reference anything that Gabby said, because this is a completely different evaluation. And so we just don't want to carry over anything from that evaluation to this, because I don't have to do it, because you didn't even see that. Does that make sense? Makes sense. Okay. But I do appreciate you saying that we're here to support you, because we are here to support you, and I'm glad to hear that you felt that. I think that it's a two-way street of what we can improve, and because it is a relationship, and so I do appreciate that. Thank you. So, okay, so I'll entertain a motion to close the discussion on her self-assessment.
So moved.
So moved. Jim, and a second. Oh, Jackie.
Okay. All
right, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, so we're going to go on to the library director evaluation, preparing and managing the budget. Necessary work is completed in a timely manner prior to monthly and annual presentations to the board. This is something that I think that in your first year, you had Diane there, and you didn't even really do the budget because Alan had done it. And then it was really Diane came in and took over and just did it for you for the most part, because you didn't even have any training. This year, I have seen you kind of fall through it, you know what I mean? Which, in a meeting that I had with finance earlier, I think it is something that we as a board need to create a policy, a standard method of operations on how to budget and what are the expectations. And what I have found is that, especially for new directors that have not done this before, that is something we need to implement. But with that being said, I think that you've done a great job with that, but I do believe there's room for improvement, to be honest. So I would say about a 4.
I think in anybody's job, if you've got a job of any kind, if you're not a mathematical mind, budget, and I'm a word person, I'm the reader, but budgets are scary. And the only way I ever survived doing my library budget in the elementary school was throwing myself at the mercy of the finance people and say, please help me. And, so I think that it's a learning curve, and you finally have to learn, I can ask. And I think I had to get past that pride of saying, I don't really know. You're going to have to walk me through this. And I have seen that happen. You said there's room for improvement, but I have seen growth, so I do know it's in the process. So I think 4 now, and I think that's, going to be
Easily attainable 5.
Attainable 5, I really do. But I do know that I feel your pain, because I have thrown myself at the mercy of a lot of people that were numbers people, and they helped me.
The budget covers all necessary expenses. I'm going to give you 4, and the reason for this is because of this whole TLC issue. But as I went to the meeting with you with finance, I found out that there was a communication error in that, which has made me go, we need to do a standard method of operations. But I want to give you 4 only because it is something that was brought up, and it is something that had to be taken care of. Okay? Funds are allocated and reserved for unanticipated contingencies. Funds are effectively allocated. I'm going to say a 4 for those. For those doing the mid-course correction is minimized. I think that's about a 4. And I'm only saying this because I see improvement, but it's a learning curve as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So please don't take it as you think you're not doing a good job, because you're doing a great job. Yeah. So.
That one of her points was to
correct. Yes. But with the other ones, well, she definitely communicates with the county finance department about me and handle issues with them. We're gonna give you a 6 on that. We're gonna say 5 on the rest of the other ones, because she is, and you put this on some of those emails, and you do ask questions. You do ask a lot of questions.
And don't forget that
And
one at the top.
Communicate with the library board about budget issues as soon as they arise. I 5, because as soon as something arises, you're communicating. So, all right.
So you've got the first few are 4s and then 5s are the rest of them.
The first 5s are 4.
And then the last
The
one.
4 are a 5. Yes.
So that's 5.
5 are 5. Managing the staff, I think that you're doing great here. I don't see any problem with this. I think that you're doing fine. The only thing that I would say is that I think that just recognizing people's strengths and putting them in the correct place at a quicker pace. Does that make sense? Okay. But I would say 5, and then I'll just say in the comments, recognizing strengths.
So 5 down, but to continue improving, look for those strengths and place them even better or quicker.
Okay. Professional awareness, you do great with this. Honestly, I don't see any direct or inconsistent adequate knowledge of current policies and standards set by the library board and Tennessee library standards. Prepares reports and compiles statistical data as needed. Ensure compliance with all laws. I mean, you're finding laws I didn't even know, like resolutions. So you're great at that. Because when we were doing time cards, she's the one that found the resolution for pay in the county. So, I think she's doing great at that. So I would say 5 for all. Anybody else have anything? No. Okay.
And you are doing the director's report at least 48 hours ahead at this point, right? So I just remember that from your previous.
Yeah.
That was from previous conversation.
There's never been one that's been late, and
Not in the last.
we've never had to go.
Not since the evaluation, correct?
Yeah.
Because that was a part of our conversation.
Collection and development policy is upheld. You did fabulous. You were extremely quick in implementing the collection and development policy and the changes. And to my knowledge, you had it was
within a week.
Was it within a week?
Was it within a week? I came to see it, and you said, because I was asking how it was going with different places. A little bit less than a week. And it was, we had a plan in place as soon as we heard what needed to be done with legal. As soon as it was passed, I had people ready to move, and they knew their task. Thank you for that.
We appreciate it having such a large collection. The largest collection, largest library. I just wanted to say thank you because, and you were in the process of, I think you were still hiring some people and all that because you were still hiring from before. So just thank you. All right, so we'll do all 5. Implementation of board decisions in a timely manner. I'm going to say 5. I don't think as soon as we say something, you put it in there. So. Use of library, effectively communicate library services to the public. The growth in your teams, your growth in your programs, I mean, it shows that you're effectively communicating, and you're using the library, and you're absolutely to the community. Anybody else have any?
Yep.
Okay. All right. development of staff, this is where I would just say the potential managers are identified, encouraged to develop. I would say as we did before, that's that whole finding people's strengths. Any thoughts on that? I would say a 4 because she's improving on that. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, but that's not an improving score. That's highly effective.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to do this?
oh, I don't have a basis, but if what you're saying is that area needs improvement, then let's make the report reflect that.
You're saying based off of the
On the scoring rubric, if we want it,
yeah,
that's right. If we want it to, if our intention is to convey that this is an area that needs improvement, then say that it needs improvement. And it's, I know evaluations, are fraught with tension and people rather get weirded out, but it has to be an honest, opportunity for feedback, to help people, grow. And I don't know if the way we always did it in the armed forces was, hey, it's a Christmas tree. There's only one star at the top. Like not everybody can be 5s. And most of the Christmas tree where you hang most of the decorations are right there in the middle. And that's not a bad thing. Like, it's great.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So, agree?
Sure.
Okay. Well, are the 3 good for you, Jim? Would you?
I'm fine.
Okay. Hey, we all gotta come to this. Internal candidates for promotion are competitive without taking a position. Yes, director actively justifies the need for self-development funds. So we can for such funds. Yes, staff is trained according to Tennessee standards. I mean, everything is fine with me.
Another situation. We get to hear great reports from Cecilia about how much of the training with each of your staff. And it's so neat to watch those certificates or acknowledgments come through. I feel like all of our libraries are really good at that.
She does have one. She showed it to me. And so she does have one. And that was, I don't think Alan had one, correct? You basically created that.
Yeah, I didn't find one. He may have, but I didn't see one.
Staff are aware of the separation of professional and clerical tasks and responsibilities. Key service areas have been identified. Staff deployed accordingly. Functions are analyzed periodically and adjusted, combining, eliminating, and creating new positions. You've actually created a new position. She's really good at that. Any thoughts?
Have you done the peak service hours have been identified and staff deployed accordingly?
Yes, we have that is called survival.
That's right. Yes, that's right. So in addition to just polling staff, do you feel like you were supported during your shift? Do you need other people just watching the patrons? We got a new person counter, and so we're able to kind of see better trends on when people are coming in. But
Okay.
I'm sorry, succession plan, we covered that?
Yes,
she does something.
You are definitely visible to the population when you're not in costume. So, yes, I think that communication with local officials and regional office, during communication, prayers and really notices and library publications, do that. When speaking engagements, I don't see any problem in any of those. Good with that, Jim?
Yep.
Okay. Direct communication participates in professional organizations as appropriate. You've actually found some organizations. So I would say 5. Adequate staff research is completed prior to presentation to the board. An A.
That's what they are, correct?
Yeah. It's actually something that I guess the board is supposed to be having to do. That's why it's actually in there. Adequate staff research is completed prior to presentation to the board. And again, this gets out to policies that we need to review and to implement. Friends of the library, director actively promotes the residents of the friends group. I mean, you go to, you're having, is it this week that they're put together? This week. So, to my knowledge, great, you know, he's Fred now, right? And he emailed us recently, so it sounds like we were having a great conversation with him. Friends group has adequate explanation of its role in relationship to the role of the board. Honestly, and I meant to say this the other one, I think that we as a board need to clarify that.
Which one is this?
The Friends group has adequate explanation of its role in relationship to the role of the board. That's something that,
That one that's indented.
yeah, it's indented, I don't know why it's printed like that. And I'm gonna put NA, and I meant to put that as on the last one.
Because that's what they're trying to do. I mean, that one.
The NA's Friends group has adequate explanation, because that's really our role, and we need to explain that to them. That needs to be in a policy that we're supposed to be creating. Okay, and then, but everything else, she does great. All right.
Thank you for communicating with us about what the Friends are doing and giving us those opportunities to know about that.
Maintenance and construction of physical library, building and grounds are adequately maintained within the imposed budgetary constraints. You have got the master gardeners to donate their whole time to do
That's great.
everything for the grounds. I mean, that's phenomenal. And then with your constraints now with Hendersonville and all that mess and stuff, so just thank you. So I would say 5.
Is that relationship going well with the master gardeners? Yes. They recently got the appropriate because we didn't do the planting, but they received the Hendersonville Beautification Award, which really kind of boosted them and got them the exposure that they need because they're out there every day watering, trimming, and pruning. I know that I saw them when the what's it called? Irrigation. The irrigation system was messed up, and they were having to hand water all of that, and so they were there every day just pouring with flowers. So, yeah. I was hoping that was going well.
It is great. All facility needs are reported library board in a timely fashion. You are extremely good with that. I know we know what's going on if something breaks down, which is great because we know how to help. So, all right. So 5 on those. Establishes priorities, structures, recommended priorities are in concert with the library's plan as defined by the board. Appropriately reflect community needs. Priorities reflect advanced planning. Reflection of short and long range plans. Structure provides adequate information to the board. Means and spatial vision of short and long-term planning. I mean, all that is fine. You have a long-term plan in place. Is that correct?
We have a 10-year, 5-year, and then an extension.
Yeah. I thought I'd seen that before. So, okay. All good on that? Okay. All right. And then staff selection is accomplished to appropriate secretary or staff resources selection process design to ensure the selection of the best job. Selection process is designed to ensure the selection of the best person for the job. We'll put you as 3 again.
Because that is that.
Which
still
one?
on that same
15 staff selection.
15, the middle one.
The middle one.
Okay. All right.
So 5 on either
5
side
on
of
the
that.
other side of the 3.
Yeah.
So any extra comments for her?
Just go easy on yourself. Don't take it all and have to think you have to do everything. You can let go a little bit. I know it's hard. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a manager. It's hard to let go, but take it. And because balance of life is important.
And I would say take it easy on yourself because I know that in the past probably 7-8 months you've taken on a lot, which has made you ill at times. And the library needs you healthy, and so just, take care of yourself, and your family needs you, and we want you to be healthy. So just set that boundary and say what I'm saying, take a vacation. Take a vacation.
Don't not use your vacation days.
Yeah.
Why they're
Don't not use
don't not use them. Yeah.
Mental
don't
health,
negate.
that's what you can do.
Yeah.
And a good leader delegates, if they do, and they delegate so that they don't get overwhelmed. And, so that, what I can just say is, you have to delegate. Okay.
I don't really offer, busy does not equal effective.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's for everybody, but again, Elise, thank you so much for what you do and how you lead that library, and please thank your staff, and, I think you've got, support here when you need it and want it.
Yes, thank you. All right, so I will, entertain a motion to accept the evaluation to move on to the board of Alicia. Jackie? All right, so a second. Joe? All fair say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll have you sign this for me, please. And thank you for staying later, and
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you everyone
Lisa.
for staying. Appreciate it.
Thank you, public as well.
Yes, and thank you, public, for staying. Jackie, you're going to
I know, yeah, 7.
It's a turn.
I'm good.
Is it fairly close?
It's, where the cemetery is in Portland?
Yeah, it's right across. Okay.
So
So
I
I'm
will
good, yeah.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.